Welcome to Inside Roanoke. I'm Melinda Mayo, the Communications and Media Officer for the City of Roanoke. Today we're here at Fire Station 1 because we're going to talk about summer weather safety. We're also going to hear about recycling contamination and a lot more, so stay with us.
A little soap and water can go a long way. When you wash your car in a driveway, the soap, oil, and grease can flow into storm drains and pollute our rivers and streams. Always try to wash your car on the lawn. This will allow the water to soak into the ground. If you have to wash your car in a driveway, make sure the water drains onto your lawn and not a storm drain. Use a biodegradable soap. Dump your wash bucket in your sink or allow it to filter through the grass. It's easy to keep your car and our waterways clean by doing the right thing.
Welcome back, and my guest is Mary Talley. Mary works for the Finance Department, but she's also a member of the Star City Innovators, which is our group associated with lean.
That's correct.
So we're going to talk about lean today.
Okay.
Start off by telling us, what is lean? What is that?
Well, lean isn't really an acronym for anything. You know, the city likes all its acronyms. What lean is a customer-based methodology that just incorporates process improvements to deliver the most value for our customers in the most efficient way. You know, with the financial situations and the financial hardships that's the city of Roanoke, as well as other local governments are running into, the lean techniques can help close that budgetary gap by just creating more efficiencies with our processes and to streamline the services that we provide to our customers.
So when did we start using lean, and talk a little bit about how it got started here at the city? Why?
So in the spring of 2012, our last city manager, Chris Mural, went to a conference, and he was introduced to one of the Virginia Tech department heads for the school's industry and engineering department. And they got to talking about lean and what the possibilities were for the city of Roanoke and Virginia Tech to kind of partner to do some of these programs.
And so how is it facilitated? Who does that within the city?
So back in the fall of 2012, the city had lean practitioner training. They partnered with the Roanoke Higher Ed Center and had lean practitioner as well as Lean Six Sigma Greenbelt training.
Right.
And we had 4 cohorts that went through with over 43 employees that went through and got certified in lean practitioner. And we had one cohort that had 10 employees in it that got certified in the Lean Six Sigma.
Okay.
So the students, they worked on both group projects and individual projects throughout the city with the hope that those graduates from the lean practitioner training would take their expertise back into their departments and continue with processes.
And so that training is ongoing? We're still training new employees?
Yes, so we are training some new employees. The training has kind of changed a little bit. The facilitators is the Department of Finance, along with the Lean Steering Committee that kind of oversees all of those processes. So in April of 2017, some of the graduates from the Lean Practitioner decided that we wanted to get together and just push forward more of the lean training on a smaller kind of scale.
Right.
So we formed the Star City Innovators, SCI we'll call it, and its motto is let me get it right. It is small changes, big differences. So through the training, we felt like these small changes that we could incorporate throughout would make big changes throughout the city.
Okay.
So currently now, with our training, we have a 1.5-hour training that is for all new employees, and it's going to become part of the new employee orientation. The Star City Innovators are in the process of working on a half-day training that will just give the employees a little bit more tools and going through that. Also, the city management team is going to, in their retreat in the fall, is going to also have what they have. DSS also has they're a little bit ahead of the city as far as human services go with their innovators.
Right.
And they actually have like a one-day academy that they do, that they're going to have a version of that for our city management team.
And you know, this is such a great topic. If somebody who's watching today wanted to know more about lean, how could they get that information?
So one of the things that they would contact RB Lawhorn in the Department of Management and Budget to get the information about lean.
Okay. Well, it sounds great, and I'm so happy to hear the city is doing something innovative to try to find efficiencies and save money and give better service to our citizens.
Yeah, one thing that I do want to point out about lean, you know, when we start talking about process improvement and making efficiencies, you know, the first thing that people think and wonder about is, does that mean that we're going to reduce our employees? And that's not what lean is about. It is about just making things more efficient so that we can provide better customer service for our citizens, as well as make the employees feel better about their job and what they're doing. So that's really important.
That's a great program. Thank you for coming on the show and telling us about it today.
Thank you
Thanks.
for having me.
We'll be right back.
Want to learn how to manage your money better, save for that car or dream home, or be able to bounce back from bad credit mistakes? Bank On Roanoke Valley can help. Bank On works with local banks, credit unions, and local governments to offer free classes at local libraries in our community. It's easy, free, and it's happening right where you live. Check out the calendar of classes or sign up at bankonrv.org or call 777-4200 for more information.
Welcome back. My guest is Nell Boyle, and Nell is a Sustainability Outreach Coordinator for the city. Now, we wanted to talk today about recycling. Now, Roanoke's program's been pretty successful, and we've got a lot of participation, but what are some things we need to pay attention to? The people who are responsible recyclers, what do they need to really focus on as far as recycling?
So let me tell you a little bit about how recycling happens. So we're here at RDS, which is where we actually get our recycling processed. So when you get it picked up on the curbside, it comes here, it gets dumped here, and then they have a fabulous piece of equipment called a MRF. And that's really just short for a material resource facility. So what the MRF does is it's this big long conveyor belt, and there are all these different stages where the recycling, the different materials go in different directions. So people wonder, how is it that you can have glass and plastic and all that mixed together? How does that work? So what you do is it goes through a conveyor belt, and on the first stage they have about 5 people, and those people pull out all the contamination. Those are the things that we don't want in recycling. It's very labor intensive, but the cool thing is, after you get past that point, they have magnets that pull out the tin cans and the steel cans. They have ultraviolet lights that sort the plastics, and then they pop them with a little bit of air. So, you know, they sort with air and water and magnets, and it does this very elaborate system that's really pretty cool and pretty effective. But the thing that we have to be concerned about is those 5 people in that first, you know, maybe 50 feet of conveyor where all they do is pull out contamination. So what we can do as a responsible recycler is to make sure we aren't putting things like hoses in there. Plastic bags are a huge problem for our equipment because it gets caught up in the equipment, and then the equipment has to shut down and they have to pull it out. Wrappers, you know, if you have some packaging and there's that plastic wrap, that's not recyclable. The things that are recyclable are like your soda cans and your water bottles and, you know, things like that. So those are the things that we're looking for. And the reason that we want to be really careful about this is because somebody just has to stop and physically close the machine down and pull it out.
Right. So when you're putting out your recycling, be sure that you look at your thing that tells you what you can and can't recycle. Make sure it's clean. Whatever you put in there is rinsed out. Talk about it.
That's right. Yeah, sure. So anything that's like a liquid container, make sure you dump all the liquid. As far as papers, you want to make sure the paper is clean and dry best you can. You know, if it gets a little bit wet and you have a little water in the bottom of the can, that's not a big deal. But you don't want to put a half a Coke in there and then throw the paper on top of that. That really makes a mess, and then that makes our paper not so good to sell. So want to make sure that we dump all the liquids out. As far as paper, if there's any kind of soiled product on it, so I usually think my rule is protein. If there's, you know, cheese in the bottom of the pizza box, if there's oil or grease, you've been working in the garage and you wipe your hands on a paper towel, don't throw those in. Those are dirty. But, you know, if you wipe your hand in a paper towel and it's just got some water on it, go ahead and throw that in. So those are the kind of things you want to think about.
And so once it gets here and they sort it, what happens to the recycling after that?
So recycling is actually a commodity. Melinda, it actually goes into a new product. So these guys, they separate it, they bale it, they actually sell it to some sort of a market. So somewhere somebody wants to buy that product to make a new product.
Okay.
So it's actually what we call a commodity, and they sell it on the market. And so when this happens, you want to make sure there's somebody on the other end that wants the product that you're producing. And that's why the contamination is so important, because if it's too dirty, they'll say, you know, we don't want this product, we'll buy it from somebody else. And also that's why we want to make sure we put the right things in the recycling. And sometimes that changes. So we have to be, you know, paying attention to what's changing in the recycling market.
Nell, how does our recycling affect what other localities do as far as recycling? Does it impact each other?
Right. Well, so Roanoke County and Botetourt and Vinton, if you take your recycling anywhere around town, it ends up here at RDS. So not only is the information we're sharing today true with the city of Roanoke residents, but it would be true of everybody in the Roanoke Valley.
Okay. And so recycling saves money, it saves the environment. What are some of the benefits?
So, as I said, it's a commodity, so that's a great thing. It actually doesn't go into a landfill, which is a big hole where we just throw all our garbage and cover it up. So this actually goes into a new product. So we save all kinds of resources and materials and money by putting it into new products. Also, it's cheaper to recycle. We have what we call a tipping fee. And the tipping fee is we're charged for every ton that we pick up. And so the tipping fee for recycling is actually cheaper than the tipping fee for solid waste.
Okay, that's where the money savings.
Right, so every time we do that, we save some money. So that's a great thing. And for the environment, well, clearly it doesn't go into the landfill. And so that's just a wonderful thing.
Well, if somebody had questions, maybe they want to know more about the contamination part of it or just recycling in general, how do they get that information?
Well, our website is a great place to go, and RDS has a website as well that you can go to. The Clean Valley Council has some really good information on recycling, or you can just contact me, Nell Boyle, nell.boyle@roanokeva.gov, and I'd be happy to answer any questions for you.
Well, it's very helpful information. Hopefully everybody's going to take it to heart.
That sounds great. Thanks, Melinda.
We'll be right back.
Lead poisoning is a preventable environmental disease which affects an estimated 1 million children in the United States. Lead is most harmful to children 6 years old or younger because they often put their hands and other objects in their mouth which may have lead dust on them. Growing bodies absorb more lead, and children's brains and nervous systems are more sensitive to the damaging effects of lead. Lead Safe Roanoke is a program to enrich and protect the families in the city of Roanoke by helping its citizens eliminate lead-based paint hazards from their homes. Get more information at roanokeva.gov/leadsafe.
Welcome back. My guest is Tiffany Bradbury. Tiffany is the Community Risk Reduction Specialist for the Fire EMS Department.
Yes.
And we want to talk about summer weather and talk about the dangers of some of the things that we have to encounter in the summer. And start talking a little bit about summer heat in general.
So summer heat, it's really busy in here today, but hopefully we're not going out for any heat-related illnesses or injuries. But when it does heat up and it gets really humid outside, a lot of times, especially the elderly and young children, have a hard time compensating for the heat.
Right.
So there are some things that we need to take into account to keep ourselves safe.
Okay. So heat exhaustion, stroke.
Heat stroke, heat exhaustion, heat cramps. You know, we always tell people, take it easy. Get your really hard work that needs to be done outside done in the morning hours.
Yeah.
Take frequent breaks. Protect yourself from sunburn, because that's also going to increase your risk of having a heat-related injury.
Right.
Hydrate, 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 hydrate. And also we want people, you know, be careful with alcoholic beverages or watch your medications, because sometimes those can kind of make you more susceptible to heat-related injuries. And wear some, you know, loose-fitting, cool clothing, and again, take those frequent breaks.
So if you're with someone and they have some sort of a heat emergency, what should you do?
I mean, the best thing to do is get them to a cool place. You want to call, you know, if they're really lethargic, you know, sometimes you'll have like a kind of cool, moist skin, which is kind of weird with a heat-related injury. But you want to, you know, if you really feel like they're having some difficulty, go ahead and call 911 and let us come out and assess them. But getting them to a cool place is always a good thing to do. But, you know, definitely check on neighbors, especially our elderly friends, and make sure that they're safe.
Another big problem in the summer is leaving children and pets in the cars.
Absolutely. There have already been a few deaths already nationwide this year from kids being left in hot cars. So we tell people, first of all, in your driveways, make sure you lock your vehicles, because kids are curious. If a child goes missing, check a body of water first, then check a car. Cars can heat up to 125 degrees very fast with that greenhouse type effect. And usually the kids are under the age of 3. And we don't forget the crying, screaming children in a car. It's the sleeping ones.
Right.
So that's why we want to make sure that people never, ever leave their kids in a car. If they're dropping kids off at daycare, things like that, have some safeguards in place. If your child doesn't arrive, make sure that daycare provider or babysitter calls you to see why the child's not there. Because many times we see people forget. People say it would never happen to me, but if your norms change or your schedule changes, and I know I've been on autopilot before and I've completely missed a turn. So it can be the same thing for a parent or caregiver.
And to have some kind of reminder in the car with you to check.
Absolutely. And we tell people put your cell phone in the back because we don't get very far without our cell phones anymore. Or if you have a small child, maybe have a teddy bear and put that in the front seat if you have a baby in the back of the car.
To remind you.
And some of the new vehicles that are coming out on the market are actually having a kind of a dinging feature, kind of like when your door is still open, that'll tell you to check the back seat as well.
Another thing that people like to do in the summer is swim.
Yes.
Some water safety tips.
Well, water supervision. That's the biggest thing I can tell people because kids drown silently. Especially a lot of our backyard pools, a lot of them will be 3 feet or even more shallow, and then it'll dip off very quickly to 5 or 6 feet. It's really important to learn CPR. That's another good thing. But just supervise the kids. If you are the water watcher, make sure that you are not on your cell phone, you're not reading a book or a magazine and not talking to somebody else. That is your job, to watch the kiddos and make sure that maybe they're wearing some bright colored swimsuits. Now when we go to the beach, that's a whole different ball game because the ocean can be very unforgiving. So I always say, have those kids within an arm's reach. And remember to put them, if they aren't good swimmers, floaties and pool noodles are not going to keep them afloat. They need to be in a good life jacket that's approved.
And another thing people like to do is camp out or be outside. Let's say they want some sort of a fire in the backyard or a campfire. What do we need to remember about that?
Well, we have to remember here in the city of Roanoke, open air burning is not allowed due to the fire code. You can have like a small chimney, things like that. But if you are out camping, always make sure you have a bucket of water with you. Always adhere to all the burning laws. So if there's a burn ban out, I don't think we have to worry about that right now. We've had quite a bit of rain the past few weeks, but you want to make sure that you're adhering to those types of things. Have that bucket of water. Make sure you keep the kids and pets away from it. I always see kids, they seem to be running around that campfire, and if they trip and fall, that can be a real tragedy.
What other things should we remember about summer safety with the weather?
With getting to the weather, if you hear thunder, you need to go inside because that means a thunderstorm's coming. So make sure that you keep an eye on the skies. A NOAA weather radio is another good thing to have because these thunderstorms can pop up quickly. I know we had quite a big thunderstorm last night, and I know it shut some power out. And remember, if you come across a flooded roadway, to turn around, don't drown.
Okay. Tiffany, if somebody had questions or they wanted more information like what we just talked about, how could they get it?
Well, they can go to our website, but the best thing to do is follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter because we put a lot of information out there. Or they can go to the city's website, and my phone number's on there. They can give me a call.
So Facebook, it's just Facebook?
Facebook's Roanoke Fire EMS Department.
Okay.
Yes,
great.
so they can give us a look, and then they can also give us a call.
Sounds great. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll be right back.
The Municipal Volunteer Program is designed with a focus on community outreach to encourage citizens to participate in local government. Serving as a volunteer will not only enhance your knowledge about the city, but also enrich your life and greatly benefit your community. Volunteer as an individual or with a group, every week or once a year. Whatever your skills and interests, there's an opportunity for you. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, please complete an application by logging on to roanokeva.gov/MVP or calling 853-1801.
Welcome back. My guest, Jennifer Fowler. She's with Patrick Henry. It's the Art Honor Society, is that right?
The National Art Honor Society.
You're the sponsor for the school.
Yes.
And then Susan Jennings, who's our Arts and Culture Coordinator. And we're going to talk about a new mural. It's standing kind of behind you all, but tell us about the name of it and how it was created. Tell us a little bit about it.
The title is Be the Change, and we were looking, based on the space for the municipal building, of something that would be positive for the space, and that title just kind of incorporates what the students want the message to be.
Okay, so we have this mural. Where are we going to put it? Where is it going to be located, and why do we choose that?
It's going to be on the first floor of the municipal building north. That floor was totally painted about a year ago, and there's nothing on the walls.
Okay.
And the court services unit is housed there, and they came to me and said, we want some art for our walls, and there's a perfect wall down there. And coincidentally, Jennifer came to me shortly after that and said, my students would really like to do a mural in the city. Okay. So it just matched together perfectly.
All right, and so the design of it, it's very beautiful. Who came up with the ideas, the concept? How was that done?
The students completely came up with the idea. They actually presented two concepts to the Arts Commission, and based on the comments we got back and the feedback we got from the Arts Commission, they headed in the direction of portraits.
Why did we have a mural? I mean, what's the idea behind it, the goal of it? What's it supposed to accomplish?
Well, we took the students through a public art project process, just like we do with any artist, and they filled out an RFP, and they had to describe how their mural would fit the location it was going, what the message would be, what the materials would be. We wanted them to get a real good feel for what a public art process is like. So I think we accomplished that, as well as getting something beautiful for the city's art collection.
Now, when are we going to unveil it? When will people first see it?
June the 8th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The mayor will lead us in the unveiling. And I just heard yesterday that people on that floor are so excited about it coming that they're going to have cake and punch for everybody who shows up. So June the 8th at 1 p.m.
And how does this mural further the public art initiative that the city has going?
Well, it brings more beautiful public art. We've done some things with the schools before. We've done rain barrels. We've even done snow plows.
Yes.
This is the first time we've worked with a class to do a mural. So not only does it have that tie-in with Roanoke City Schools, but enhances and adds to our entire collection. Last time we updated our public art plan, people told us they wanted more murals in the city.
Wow.
So this gets right to that desire.
And it has the involvement of our students, which is so exciting. Anything else you want people to know about the mural?
Just go see it.
Yeah. And congratulations to the students who worked so hard on it.
If somebody wanted to know more about this mural, how could they get information?
They can contact me at susan.jennings@roanokeva.gov or 853-5652. If they want to get in touch with Jennifer, I can certainly put them in touch with Jennifer to talk about the National Art Honor Society.
Okay. Well, it's very impressive, and we look forward to seeing the municipal building.
Thank
you.
Thanks. We'll be right back.
It is important for both restaurants and homeowners to help keep our waterways clean and safe. Never pour cooking oil or grease into sinks, parking lots, or streets. The oil and grease can enter our waterways through storm drains. Always try to recycle the oil and grease or put it into the trash. It's easy to keep our waterways clean by doing the right thing.
Welcome back. And we're here at Melrose Park talking to Mayor Sherman Lee and also Officer Joshua Johnson. And we want to talk about the Lee Youth Outdoor Basketball League. Let's start out by just saying, what is that league? When did it get started and how long we've been doing it?
Well, it got started now almost 4 years ago. And one of the reasons we came together was that we wanted to form a good, strong relationship between our police officers and the youth in this community. We thought that was important, and this was an opportunity for us to do it. And basketball is a vehicle that we use, and we're just excited and delighted for how it's taken off, and we look forward to beginning our 4th season.
Well, now, have you all had a lot of participation in the past?
Yeah, so like Mayor Lee was saying, so this is our 4th year, and I think we've established a pretty good player base, and families are knowing about this program. So last year we had about 100 participants in Melrose Park and about 40 in Fallon Park, so we're looking to build on that every year.
And just this year to be focused on Melrose, right?
Yeah, so we saw the greatest interest and the best need for this kind of program in Melrose Park, so we really want to focus all our efforts in the Melrose area, Northwest area.
Okay. Well, now tell us when do the games start and what nights are they and what times? Talk about the schedule.
Well, we start on June 5th.
June 5th is our tip-off event.
We'll play every Tuesday and Thursday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Okay. And we're excited about how we've got things going up. We've got a schedule. Teams will be formed, and we're going to play basketball. We have regulation refs here. Each team will have jerseys, and we've got a scoreboard out here. So it's going to be very, very professionally run, and we've organized ourselves in terms of we've got staff on board to help us separate duties, and we think that'll make for a more efficient basketball league.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about the logistics. Who coordinates all that? How does that get done?
We've asked individuals from the community to step up and kind of help us with this program. So we have Jerome Stevens as our basketball operations, our day-to-day operations. Carla Board, who's our volunteer coordinator, which is a big responsibility, and we're happy to have her. Chris Kraft, who's our equipment and facility manager, so making sure uniforms get washed, we have all the bleachers, everything we need on site. Myself and Mayor Lee are kind of our quality control, and we're just trying to make things run as smoothly as possible.
And do you have some partners on this? Who's working with you as far as other public safety agencies? How's that work?
Well, we're delighted, of course, the city is with us all the way, and we're very delighted with that, and there's some others that we have.
Yeah, the fire department's been very helpful coming out here and just kind of providing some support as well as kind of any kind of medical emergencies. The sheriff's department's been very helpful in providing food and helping us cook. We have Cleaner World that's going to be helping us this year as well with just the uniforms and the maintenance of the uniforms. And also the Parks and Rec department's been amazing with just helping us in the background, getting everything formatted, and so we're really excited about this year. We've expanded the partnerships.
Why do you, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just wanting to say, as we do in most things here in this city, we partner. Corporate folks are coming in, and we've had some corporate donors to send in money to make this happen. And we're getting more, once people find out what we're doing and why we're doing it, more of them are asking, hey, I want to be a part, how can I contribute?
Okay. Why do you think it's so important to have our public safety officers involved in this league? What's the benefit of that?
I think it's important that we have a strong relationship with our public safety officers, especially our police officers, outside of the normal law enforcement perspective.
Right.
But we wanted the children, our youth, to get to know the police officers, and the police officers in turn get to know our young people. That's so important in this day and time that we live in, and we think that's been done, and people look forward, our young people look forward to coming down and working with Officer Johnson and the uniforms, and I think it bridges a gap so that we can be able to sit down if the issues come up in our community, we know one another. And we can form this. So I think that's so beneficial, and because in our quiet moments, we're going to be talking about character, personality. When we break each day, it's not about basketball, it's not about LeBron or any of the basketball players you talk about, but it's about being good people.
Right.
And that's why I'm excited for the list, about the list that we have of speakers that will be coming in.
So the goal of this event, this program that you all have, is really, like you said, the interaction with the public safety officers, but also to give our young people something to do. Is that part of it too?
Give them something to do. We think that's important, but we want it to be something constructive. We want it to be a teaching moment every day. We're going to have, hopefully I'll get our librarian, Sheila Umberger, to come down and talk to the young people about going to the libraries. We're going to have business people, goodwill industry to come in and talk about what they're doing. So many people come in, people who have succeeded. Also, young people who went on to graduate from our high schools and had a professional career, but they will come back and talk about the importance of good character. Character still counts.
Right. Well, remind us again the dates for this program. Josh, what were those?
So June the 5th is our tip-off event, so we want as many people out here. We'll have music, we'll have food, and we're going to be signing kids up. It's $10 per player, so we want everybody to come out June the 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. It's kind of like a block party, and then June the 7th, once we have teams formatted, then we'll bring out the referees and we'll actually start the league.
And it's what time? On
Tuesdays and Thursdays, Melrose Park, and it's from 6 to 8.
Okay. If somebody's watching and they have a question, how can they get more information?
They can contact myself at the police department. My email is joshua.johnson@roanokeva.gov. You can call down to the front desk and ask for Officer Josh Johnson.
Okay, well, it's a great program, and we wish you a lot of success this year.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm proud to be working with Officer Johnson, who has really made a strong commitment to this program being successful, and I look forward to it.
Great.
Thanks, Melinda. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
If you would like to adopt a pet, did you know that you can also go to the RCACP website and their Facebook page to look at pets for adoption? It's easy to do. Simply go to their website at rcacp.org or visit their Facebook page. Both sites include information and pictures of animals waiting to be adopted. Help make a difference in the life of a pet today. Adopt from the Regional Center for Animal Care and Protection.
We hope you've enjoyed this month's show, and we'll see you next time on Inside Roanoke.